Hello and welcome to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thank you so much for joining me. Today on our show, we'll have DJs Tomer G and Moran Levy in the studio to talk about a new interesting collaboration. A look at the African reggae musician Tiken Jah Fakoly. And a preview of the Emmy Awards taking place next week. Sitting with me here in the studio are DJ Tomer G and Moran from the group TripL. Together they recently collaborated with Iranian-born Swedish musician Kodie on the track $1 Million Baby, and I'm very happy to have them here to tell us more about it. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
So let's start at the beginning. How did this collaboration come about?
Well, it was actually a funny story.
Yeah, it's a funny story.
Oh, I love funny stories.
Yeah, there's a big convention every year in Amsterdam when people get together, all the music industry. So the label, Playground Music, and Uniform Beat, they just arrived to the convention. I met them there, and I had a demo, short demo of the track that we worked on together. Yeah.
Okay.
And we were looking for sort of an interesting artist to be included in this song, and
we found one.
Yeah, and we found one.
Well, you don't need more. Yeah, if it's the right one.
I played it to the label manager, to Patrick, and he listened to it and immediately said, "Okay, I have the right artist for this collaboration," and it was Kodie.
It was Kodie.
Yeah.
It's still Kodie. And the process of working with him, how did it happen? Were you together?
Well, actually, it was more Skype-wise.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of Skype-wise, and actually it's a small, very, very small world today.
Yeah, these days it is.
Yeah, the interesting thing is that Kodie is an Iranian artist. He lives in Sweden, so basically it's like an Israeli-Swedish-Iranian collaboration.
Now, obviously, this is something that draws attention, and it sparked my interest as well.
Yeah.
Was it playing a role though while you were working, or was it not really relevant?
Well,
Not really.
at the beginning,
we didn't know.
Yeah.
It was,
Oh, really?
it was
You didn't even
Swedish
know?
for that.
Yeah, we just saw his music and we're listening. Wow, this is a cool guy.
It
Very
sounds
cool.
very good in English.
Okay.
Very good in English. And
And when you found out, how did you find out?
In the Skype, in the first Skype.
Yeah.
In the first Skype.
Yeah, we just talked to him. We saw his work. He was working with a lot of big artists abroad, and we said, okay, his sound, his I
He's
don't
right
know, his vibe.
for the track.
Yeah. So
Just right.
we just found out that he's Iranian.
Did
but
he have any issues with you guys being Israeli?
on the contrary, no. He said that music is a universal language,
It certainly
and
is.
that's the way it should be. And he liked the song, and he liked us, and we have a big romance together. Romantic,
Romance.
yeah. Romance.
If we already
Very long
touched on politics, these days the situation in Israel and the region the last few weeks has been problematic.
Yeah.
You guys perform in Europe quite a lot.
Yeah.
Do you feel that in any way?
Actually, no.
Yeah,
Not really.
We need to do like TripL, they're like a trio that they perform a lot, and I'm like an artist that I work a lot in France and also in Spain and in Greece, and I didn't feel anything. Like I'm traveling and I'm doing music and people love music and we're going we're doing huge parties. Nothing, no cancellations.
And what about the other way around? Because we've seen some major artists that canceled performances in Israel. Do you know of DJs that come from abroad? Has there been cancellations or something like that?
Well, I think in the DJ world, it's less. There's a less.
DJs are braver than
they're brave.
braver
They're
than
coming.
singers.
Every week there's a big party in Israel with an international DJ. I can say that, right?
Yeah.
So
Almost every.
And you know best, like.
The club scene, not really. Of course, at the beginning.
People were a little worried. Yeah.
Also, the Israeli was at home with the news, but now it's a bit different.
Now, speaking of the club scene, how has this decade been to the club scene? Because I can tell you, my experience is, I don't know if it's just me getting older or if the club scene is subsiding, but I'm guessing it's just me getting older.
It's just you getting it. For sure. But seriously, it became like huge everywhere. Like all if it was like a side-ish thing, you know, to go to a club and go to a party. Now it's the real thing. Dance music.
It's more than that.
Yeah, it's became like
the biggest festivals.
Right.
In Europe and everywhere.
Yeah.
That's a funny story. Like in Israel, Madonna was performing at the same time Avicii. Like she's the biggest DJs, one of the biggest DJs in the world, were performing at the same time, at the same night, and both were full. So.
All right, now I know what I'm missing out on.
You are missing. Yeah.
Moran and Tomer, thank you so much for coming in.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Yep.
Let's keep going. One of Africa's most popular artists in contemporary reggae, Ivory Coast musician Tiken Jah Fakoly, recently released his 7th album. A musician always concerned with ideals, he now calls for African unity. David Gumbin has more.
He is one of the most popular African reggae artists in Europe. Many remember his France Afrique album, which won a Victory Music Award in 2003. That same year, he was forced to leave his native homeland of the Ivory Coast. Having received death threats, he went into exile in neighboring Mali. 10 years later, it's in his new studio in Bamako where he recorded his 7th album, Last Call. Dealing with conflicts that tear the African continent apart in general, and Mali in particular, the Pope of the African reggae preaches unity.
Mali is a big country, a country representative of Africa in the whole world by its culture. So I think I will not support any separation, no division, because anyway, if there is division, they will have to fight one day for unity.
This goal, which Tiken Jah Fakoly is fighting for, can be seen in a 2012 large gathering in Bamako Stadium.
We must first open dialogue that everyone speaks.
With his 7th album, Tiken Jah Fakoly perseveres with his unifying message. He presented to the public in Mali his self-produced album. The public now listens to the values he wishes to pass on.
He's like a messenger for me. If Africans listened, they wouldn't need consultants.
After many European festivals, including Reggae Sanska Bordeaux, he continues his European concert tour with a show at the legendary Olympia in Paris on November the 29th. Tiken Jah Fakoly is currently pleased after the start of a reconciliation process in Ivory Coast. The determined singer hopes for unity in Mali, and he will continue to use his music as a tool to strengthen his ideals.
For more than 25 years, the Bahian folkloric dance troupe in Salvador has been impressing audiences around the world by showcasing the region's unique culture and traditions through music and dance. Along the way, the innovative company has encouraged its performers to continue their academic studies while helping others launch successful dance careers. Let's watch the report.
Bringing to life the gods of the Afro-Brazilian religion Candomblé. This theatre in Salvador offers spectators a taste of the diverse history and culture of Brazil's coastal state of Bahia. Their show incorporates various traditional dance styles, including samba, maculele and capoeira, a martial art invented by slaves brought to Brazil centuries ago.
I like this show very much because it's very powerful, because it's about culture and folklore. It looks very good aesthetically.
It was amazing. I mean, I cannot believe how fast they were moving. I can't believe how agile the dancers were. I've never seen anything like that.
The troupe is made up of 38 local dancers and musicians who perform 5 days a week. Most are from Brazil's underprivileged black population, and the company's goal is to offer them a better chance in life, as much as to put on a good show.
When poor black Brazilians come out to the city from the outskirts, they're considered second-class citizens. They know it and it's true. What I do is to make them believe that when they pass through that doorway, We demystify that. Here they have their own story. They're in charge of their own destiny. They can create the life they want, and they can do it through art and dance.
E o artifício que eu posso dar para que isso aconteça é a arte, é a dança.
Most of the dancers arrived with no formal dance training, and the company encourages them to keep up their academic studies alongside performing, offering them grants and a decent wage so they can get by.
No começo, At the beginning, my family weren't all that sure about it. They were saying there's no future in it, it's not good for me, that I should focus only on my studies. But now, they think differently about it, and they see all I have achieved.
Each year, the troupe tours overseas, showcasing the spirit of Bahia to the world. Over 25 years, more than 100 dancers have graced this stage. And while for some it's a stepping stone to a different career, others have gone on to take jobs with prestigious dance companies in the US and Europe.
Every year on India's Independence Day, the citizens of New Delhi take to the roofs to fly colorful kites, a tradition that symbolizes their independence from the British. Let's see.
Each year around August the 15th, kite war fills the skies above Delhi. In the tactical game of kite flying, opponents try to bring down each other's kites by cutting the strings with their own. The centuries-old game is one of the city's favourite sports, and on Independence Day, it symbolises India's freedom from colonial rule.
When India was under the British, they had all the control and they did as they liked. And we were tied up in strings. So we celebrate independence with kites, because the aim of the game is to cut their strings, so the kite becomes free in the same way that we did.
Ahead of celebrations every year, enthusiasts head to this kite market in Old Delhi. Most kites cost between 10 and 50 cents, but the key component is the pricier string, which is coated in crushed glass for a competitive edge. These days, shopkeepers complain that business here isn't what it used to be.
Things have changed in the past 10 years. The crowds have really dwindled. Lots of young kids are into more modern games now, and that's impacted the market. Inflation has also made the kites too expensive for many.
Azar spent more than $100 on 400 kites for the festive period. He believes in buying the best quality kites he can afford for him and his family.
A good kite should have a frame that's equal on both sides, so the kite sits evenly over it. You should release it gently into the sky, and it shouldn't turn, but fly straight, and only turn when you make it turn.
There are dozens of kite-flying clubs in Delhi with competitions held around the year. But on Independence Day, it's the taking part and just having fun, and not the winning that counts.
And now, joining me in the studio, Avri Rosen-Tzvi to speak about...
the Emmys.
Very important.
It's very important indeed. It's going to be Sunday night.
Yep.
Or Monday night.
It's coming up next week.
It is. Yeah, it's gonna be. It was an interesting year for television. We had a lot of very successful shows. Mm-hmm. I think the caliber of the host does not match the caliber of the shows. We have Seth Meyers.
Right. Which, you know, you got to give him respect. I mean, Seth Meyers.
SNL. He was head writer of SNL for a long time. But I think as a comedian and on his show, he's a very smug comedian.
Well,
he laughs at his own jokes.
Billy Crystal is going to be on doing a...
Billy Crystal, on loan from the Oscars, I guess.
I guess so. Doing a homage.
He's going to do a tribute to Robin Williams, who, as we all remember, started in television and ended in television, sadly.
Different note.
He's not nominated. That's sort of notable because he wasn't very good in that show.
But with Billy Crystal there, it might up the level
we hope it'll up. We have Tina Fey who's going to do some presenting, so it's going to be fine.
All right,
but let's talk about the nominees. So first of all, there is a big sort of weirdness this year about miniseries and series, okay? Because Fargo which is had in 10 episodes. They sort of written as a mini series. They're also
what is
like
it nominated as? It's nominated.
It's nominated as a mini series.
Even though we know that there's going to be another season.
Even though we know there's going to be another season, and they're also competing against themselves in the leading actor of a mini series, Martin Freeman and Billy Bob Thornton, and Mike Ruffalo might take it for his television movie.
It's the same people now, especially now that we see more movie people coming to TV. It does work that way. Thank you so much, Avri, and thank you at home for joining me as well. We'll be back next week. Till then, you can see our best of show during the weekend. Join us.